Stop it. Hi, I'm Nigel Kent, and welcome to Trouble in Paradise, the podcast about living in Southwest Florida, the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads, and everything. And I'm joined tonight by my good friend Ronin James, who is filling in for Gabby Fallon. She sends her very best, and she'll be back soon. How are you, Ronin?
Fantastic.
All right. How's it been the last couple weeks? It's been I feel like it's been 2 years since we sat down and did one of these.
It feels like quite a bit of time, but living in paradise, we're all so busy.
Yes.
Right? Being parasitic, it's a lot of work, right? A lot of effort, right?
Parasitic, not paradisic.
Paradisic is good. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Like
we're
that.
paradisians.
Wow. Now I feel more important or more impotent. Which one? I can't remember.
Impotent.
Yeah.
Impotent. Yeah. All right. So what have you been up to the last few weeks?
Wow. A little bit of traveling. I've been enjoying the great service of the American airline industry. A quick story. Sunday.
No, absolutely 100% authentic opinion right there, right?
Yes.
No cynicism.
No cynicism. Okay.
All right.
All right, here's life in the fast lane. Sunday night, a 5:20 flight. Schedule. Woke up in the morning on Sunday, already pushed it back an hour, 6:20. Okay, fine. Throughout the day, it went to 7:20. And
Was this AM?
No, this was a PM flight.
Okay. All right.
So actually, more correctly, it was a 5:20 flight, and I had gone back home at 2 p.m. to pack up. I knew I had to leave my house at 3.
Okay.
So at just before I left the house, I looked and I saw a delay, right? Another hour delay. So I said, okay, I could sit home for another hour. That's fine.
Oh, at least you weren't at the airport yet by the time this
right.
happened.
Nothing scheduled. So now, from 2 o'clock, my entire day was now controlled by this theoretical airline schedule. Next, all right, an hour goes by, I'm ready to leave. Check again. Oh, now it's pushed back another hour. This happened about 5-6 times. My 5:20 flight was scheduled for 10:45 p.m.
Okay.
All right, at 10 o'clock, I get a cancellation notice. Now, I haven't left my house.
They do it like that. They do it like that every time.
Right. Now, I had not left my house, which is fine. Better to have that situation than be at the airport. However, since I was going to be gone for a week, I hadn't gone shopping in the last 2 weeks. I had no food in the house, nothing to do. I'm sitting there. I had nothing scheduled because I knew I wasn't going to be around. And I'm just waiting and watching these delays come in. So at 10 o'clock, I get the final cancellation. Now, I've been home since 2. And now I have to get on the phone an hour and a half to reschedule the flight, less than a 3-hour flight, and the airline screws you for $600. And it didn't go off until the following evening. Couldn't even get out the next morning. Now, that's fine and dandy. The next evening, I get to RSW, and a 2-hour delay.
The next day.
The next day.
What airline is this?
Let's see. Started with Frontier. Frontier canceled that flight. Ended up on American.
I've had the same problem on Frontier.
Oh, just brutal.
I had 3 nights in a row one time. It was terrible.
I'm going to tie in the Thursday story, trying to get home on Frontier. So anyway, I got to the airport on Monday night at about 3:45 for a 5:20 flight. That 5:20 flight did not take off until after 7:30. So, again, that's a lot of wasted time.
This is on American now, though.
This is on American, but it's just the number of hours that you waste. Now getting home, here's where it gets more interesting. Got to the airport for a 1:55 flight to get back, and the announcement suggested that they were going to do a software update. They needed 30 minutes, a 30-minute delay. Okay, that seems pretty fair, 30 minutes.
A software update on the airplane?
On the airplane.
Doesn't that make you feel safe knowing that these are IP-enabled systems that anybody can hack into and basically destroy out of midair if they want to?
I was just worried that the firmware and the drivers matched. That was my concern. But here's the funny thing. That 30 minutes turned into 2.5 hours. So in less than, in a 5-day time span or a 4-day time span, I had lost well over, about 8 to 10 hours of my life.
Yeah.
And you know how comfortable it is sitting in airports. Now,
yeah, what are you doing? How do you be productive when you're sitting there worrying about when your flight's going to take off and how you're going to be on time and all that stuff?
right. So I'm fidgety. I don't like sitting. right? And if I know I'm going to be sitting in an airplane, the last thing I want to do is sit in the gate, at the gate and just sit on your ass waiting, just to go back and sit more in a plane. So I refuse to sit down. So I'm standing up for hour after hour. I start to pace and get a little, all right. And now I'm a little aggravated, but I'm, in the Buddhist tradition, I'm practicing acceptance. I'm going to accept my situation, right? I'm not going to resist something that my resistance is futile. However, maybe a little comfort food might help. All right, I was craving something sweet, something maybe chocolatey, frozen yogurt, maybe a shake. Well, the only thing in the terminal, or at least in the gate where I was a McDonald's. And I am not a fan.
Yeah, they have those things that they won't call milkshakes because they don't have any dairy ingredients in them.
Pure chemicals.
Yeah.
But I was just...
Pure chemicals. At least they're pure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, they do have a carbon molecule in them, so we can call them natural.
They're organic.
Organic, yes, of course. So I broke down and then just grabbed a small shake, right? And just out of aggravation, I put the straw in my mouth and I started sucking on it. My mind went somewhere else, so wasn't practicing mindfulness. And all of a sudden, I got to the bottom of this thing and looked at it and felt so disgusting, realized I had all this in my stomach, right? Started getting the Buddha belly. I can feel it expanding my belly. And now I have to sit and wait in double misery, right? Misery over the fact that I just indulged in something that is so horrible.
Yeah, it's not even a good treat.
Right.
It's like...
But I got to pay the price for this substandard treat. So Buddha belly, comfort food, not feeling very comfortable. Mm-hmm. Now we got to sit in an airplane, and when you sit, you always feel fatter, right? You get the roll. And so now you got to look down at your roll.
You're looking at your McDonald's shake roll.
Exactly. And I promised myself at that moment that, okay, it is about 3:30 and I am not going to eat anything else. No food's going to pass through these lips until tomorrow morning.
Well, how much had you eaten while you were waiting for your flight to eventually get scheduled?
Actually, it wasn't so much how much I ate, it was the shake. And so I had a lunch. The lunch was fine. It was a Philly cheesesteak. I was in Philly, but I didn't eat the bread. So I was like, okay.
So you picked all the meat and cheese and good stuff off the bread.
Exactly.
Okay.
Onions and my favorite thing in the world, red peppers.
Okay.
So... the guilt wasn't, overwhelming. Felt like, okay, I was in control. Food did not control me. But after that shake, after the aggravation of the delay and the shake. So anyway, here's the thing. I knew I was going out that night. And, so I was going to allow myself 2 beers, but no food. And I stuck to my promise.
After your landing.
After my landing.
And you went to, was it Baltimore or?
No, this was Philly to RSW.
Oh, okay. All right.
This was the homebound trip.
Oh, I see. And, wow, flying back. So you were delayed delayed one night flying back to RSW.
Right. And then the 2 flights that did go each had over 2-hour delays.
It's like, okay, so it's an airport the size of Akron, Ohio airport, and which means you're never going to get a lot of direct flights. And if you're delayed, you're basically screwed.
Right. That's the curse.
So that's what you ate on your trip, or I guess maybe after a 1-day delay when you were finally like, okay, I can eat and I'm starving. I'm going to go suck a milkshake and feel like shit. What do you normally eat?
Oh, boy. Let's see. It depends. It depends on the airport, right? So.
Well, what about at home?
Oh, at home, I just kind of piece together anything that I think will fill my belly with. Now, all right. Well, there's 2 examples. Are we showing this now to the?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I shared these 2 pics because this is tonight, right? This isn't a normal night. Didn't have a lot of time. I did a 21-mile bike ride just before this, and realized that I needed to get something in my stomach before venturing out of the house tonight.
Okay.
So here's where I just pieced together a ridiculous meal. Now, if we go to the next picture, and we'll come back to this picture,
Sure.
because you have to get the base. The base of the meal was 2 pieces of bar food pizza from
Okay.
Friday night. Now this is
like
Sunday.
what, flatbread?
Yeah, it's a
That's not
buffalo. It's a buffalo.
Buffalo chicken pizza?
Buffalo chicken pizza, right? So now this is Sunday night.
What bar were you at on Sunday?
No. This was Friday night from Dylan's Draft House.
Oh, 2-day-old.
Yes. 2-day-old cold.
You know what Gabby would
pizza.
say? I don't think she would appreciate this pizza bone very much. And then she would say, that doesn't look like a very good pizza bone.
Yes, I agree with her. But that's okay. It actually was tasty on Friday night, so much so that I actually took the leftovers. Now, it's very rare that I take leftovers home from a restaurant because it's like, you know what? I had it. Whatever I didn't finish, better off not in my belly.
Yeah.
And let's move on, right? The next day there'll be new food. So let's go and complete the meal by looking at what else was actually there. Now, this is the life of a bachelor at times when you really have to slum it. So here's what I decided would fill my belly and get me out of the house in a rapid pace. So if you look, there are 2 grapes. Now, did I eat 2 grapes? No, probably a dozen or so grapes.
Well, there's a whole bunch of grapes here in the background. I can see there's more grapes in this bag.
Yes. So the grapes, healthy, right? And then, of course, I've got some Parmesan Reggiano, a good chunk of hard cheese over there.
Relatively low fat also,
Well.
right? It's dry, it's hard.
Yes. Tasty, and it's one of my favorite treats. Okay, now, hummus. Hummus is one of my favorite things in the world as well.
And you like those red peppers.
Yes.
So the roasted, but Sabra uses a lot of GMOs.
Oh, I did not take that into
Big
consideration.
mass market hummus, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, here's the problem.
Although it's delicious. And I can't match their recipe. I try to make hummus at home, and there's no touching it. It's like perfectly smooth and everything.
Yeah, they do make some tasty hummus.
I see
now,
you have your cycling goggles over here on
yes,
the right.
yes. Well, before we get to that, there's one piece that's missing. So, I need a hummus delivery system, right? Because dipping your fingers in just doesn't
HDS,
work.
yes.
Exactly. So what can you use? Well, in this particular case, I just happen
just
to
scoop
have.
it out with your hand.
Well, I happen
Or
to have
take the
some.
hummus right to the face.
Oh, yes, doggy style.
Yeah, all right.
All right. So my hummus delivery system tonight happened to be Triscuits, and you can see the Triscuits right there. Now, also, what about a healthy drink? Well, you can see I go Tropicana Red Ruby Grapefruit and my Essentia Water pH balanced. Okay. Now, if you look closely, dessert is there.
I finally found the dessert.
Yes.
Now, initially, I thought the dessert was up here in the corner, this trail mix, and I was told that this trail mix has been there for about 6 months.
Since July when I moved in.
Okay.
I think the people who lived there before left it.
Apparently, Rich is not a big trail mix fan, but he loves these beads.
Yes, those are my magnets, and they keep me occupied all day long. Through phone call after phone call,
So these are like
work calls after work calls.
surplus energy magnets that help you deal with it.
Exactly.
Stress magnets.
That's exactly what they are.
I'm going to have to figure out where you got some of those and get a couple myself.
I am addicted. They are fantastic. So,
But I do think I figured out the dessert,
Yes,
and I
you
think
did.
it's these Ghirardelli dark chocolate mint chocolates here that are hiding behind your goggles.
Yes. Now, there's a good story to those mint chocolate Ghirardelli squares. There's only one square there.
Okay.
But I have a bunch of them. Now, here's how I got them. Okay, I was in San Francisco with my son.
There's always a good story.
There is, and you have to be a goofball, and you have to be able to laugh at yourself. So here's how much of a. First of all, I love Ghirardelli's chocolate. So I was with my son, his fiance, and his fiance's sister.
Okay.
So it was 4 of us. And we were at Pier 39, and we made our way over to the Ghirardelli shop right there. They call it a factory, and it looks more like a shop to me. So there's 2 areas to the store, two separate
Well, they
entities.
might have a shop and a factory.
Oh, yeah, in all fairness. But here's the thing that I love about them. They have a person at each of the 2 doors that actually gives you samples as you walk in. The samples are the small squares.
Oh, I would just bring lots of costumes and keep going back through there.
That's what I did. So first of all, that's what I did. I went with the hat and the glasses, then just with the hat, then with the glasses.
Was your son in on it?
My son was in on it. His fiance was in on it, and his fiance's sister was in on it. So I had a stack about this big, and
That probably happens so much to them. Like, the lady was probably like, come on.
In all fairness, she saw me, and she just started cracking up. The third time, we just started laughing together. And so I gave her a hug, and after she decided not to press charges, we were okay.
I was going to say, man, you gave her a hug, and then she groped you.
Yeah, she claimed I groped her.
Just to embarrass you in front of your son.
I thought it was a mutual grope. That's the way I'd like to.
Hey, remember
like to
our
recall
last video that we did about the guy who groped the Disney princess?
Yes.
And then we had that discussion about which Disney princess would we marry?
I remember. Oh no, you said which one would we grope?
I said which one would we marry? That is now our #1 video on YouTube.
Oh no way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And if it's not, I'm counting on everybody out there to make it be the #1 video. So Ghirardelli, so that's where you got that chocolate from.
Yes.
And you're savoring the very last one here?
No, I think I've got a couple of more. What I do is I pick. So that little small 1-inch square Ghirardelli chocolate has lasted a full 24 hours. I finished it just before I left tonight.
Stop.
And I was taking tiny little bites from it as needed to get me through the weekend.
So you're just having little, variously small bites of chocolate, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of caffeine,
Exactly.
like a rabbit.
I was thinking more like a rodent.
A rodent would probably eat the whole thing in one sitting.
Well, not the rodents I had.
Okay. Well.
Oh, speaking of rodents,
Okay.
This is a free association. These are true stories, except, the groping thing, right? I never groped any Disney characters, nor did I grope the woman giving away the free Ghirardelli chocolates. So, I had a can of whipped cream that I purchased in beginning of July. This is the ones that you shake and you turn upside down and you spray.
Yeah, that's the Ready Whip. And if you turn them upside down and inhale them, it's just called a Whip It.
Whip It, yes.
Yeah,
So,
can I interject it just for a second that I have it on clear authority that Jasmine Star 100% objects to the use of all forms of Ready Whip. She thinks it's a waste of material, and she believes that it's terrible. She doesn't enjoy the flavor, and she doesn't enjoy the squirt. Go ahead.
okay, well, there's certain things about that whipped cream that I do enjoy. Now, do I enjoy it to excess? No, because just based upon the fact that I had this bottle since July, and about 3 weeks ago.
You know what that bottle is, right? It's spoiled.
Oh, actually, maybe not, but it gets worse. So here's the thing: it has a tip. The tip has 4 separate,
Yeah, they're like little prongs.
Little prongs, exactly. Now, I didn't realize that you're supposed to wash those prongs and not let stale, black whipped cream accumulate there.
Okay, wait a minute. It was black?
Part of it, only one corner.
You're not supposed to have anything that's black in the whipped cream nozzle.
But I'm thinking that.
I mean, that's probably an issue if it's black, right? That's like mold or something.
Yes, but I thought the whipped cream would bypass that and just get on my strawberry like it was meant to get. I've got the strawberry in one hand. I got the whipped cream in another. I go to squirt the whipped cream, and apparently the nozzle was clogged. You had to see. So one piece of the nozzle apparently was open. All the whipped cream shot out across the room, against the wall, against my desk, my computer. So I'm like, oh crap. So I'm getting, soap and water. I'm trying to wash everything. All right. 4 days later, I come back into the house and I see a trail of these little tiny ants.
Oh, yeah.
A very sophisticated, well-organized machine they were.
Yeah, I bet there was thousands of them.
Yes, I counted more than 1,000, then I got tired.
They can find sugar from like a galaxy away, man.
Yeah,
You're smart.
far, far away.
Yep.
So so here's the thing. in this season, we must share, right? This is the Christmas season. We all want to share. Please clean your nozzles of your Ready Whip. That's number one. Number two.
To avoid unexpected squirtage.
Yes. Luckily, somebody wasn't standing there. It got into their eye.
Right. Well, you don't want solid, like, bullets of black mold hitting them in the eye either.
Yeah, this is true. I'm not sure the trajectory of the black mold, but I can now calculate the trajectory of the squirting.
As evidenced by the ants
Yes.
that the Billy and his 2,000 friends that came to confiscate all of the sugar off the. So, were you? Let me just ask you, as you were applying the Ready Whip to your strawberry, was this just like a standard dinner thing, like where you have your 2 grapes, or were you on a date, or what was going on?
Oh no, this was just me, alone, looking for a healthy snack. After eating dinner, I thought strawberries and a little whipped cream.
And a little moldy whipped cream.
And yes, and out the door I go.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, looking for fun and excitement without getting arrested. So that held me back by a little while, but at least now.
And you fed a whole bunch of ants in the Christmas spirit.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you're like Ebenezer Scrooge. He wakes up on Christmas Day after being haunted, and he just wants to share with everybody all of a sudden.
Yes, the 3 visits. Yeah, absolutely. So here in the Christmas season, in the Christmas spirit, we do want to share valuable ideas. So we thought about stocking stuffers, and we realized that, and we'll give you this tip, one of the best stocking stuffers, a severed foot.
A severed foot?
Makes a great stocking
As a stocking stuffer, a severed foot.
Well, think about it. It fits the stocking so well. Anything else you put in there is going to just be awkward. You're going to see edges. Things are going to stick out.
A severed foot. How does one get a severed foot?
Oh, wow. You haven't worked at the morgue? Whoa.
I don't mean to say, how do I get my foot severed?
No. You've never spent time at the morgue?
No, I try to avoid really places like that. I'm not a big fan of death.
Oh, I go to the morgue for sex.
What? That
is untrue.
That's possibly an edit.
Yeah. No, that is.
Let's post it first, and if everybody wants that to be an edit, we'll make it an edit. But we need 1,000. We need 1,000 views before we can make it an edit.
That was a bad joke, and I'm going to give homage.
Actually, was it you who told me the morgue joke about sex?
Oh, the 3.
The 3 nurses.
No, I thought you told me.
I told you. Did you remember it? Because I barely remember it.
I can't recall the details right now.
Okay, let's try to think of it for later, because there's a great joke about the 3 nurses who happened to be at the morgue, and I can't, man. We have to tell this joke because it's terrible. I mean, it's terrible. But in the meantime, you were talking about gifts for the Christmas giving spirit or something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite stores is Target. The only thing is,
here we go. Target.
Oh, so I tried to go into Target the other day.
Brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Here it comes.
And I missed. I could just imagine after Christmas season, bodies splattered all over of other folks who have missed.
Well, it depends on how big the miss is, right?
Right. Plus the cannon shooting those people.
Yeah, I often think about that because the logo. We're like, how did they come up with that idea for a logo and a name? Whenever I walk into Target, I'm looking around like, is anybody targeting this place? Like, I hope that it's not getting a bomb dropped on it right now.
Yeah. Okay, I have not given much thought to that.
And I don't live far from Ground Zero in that case, so I'm thinking, okay. The other day I was at Target with a young man who's 13 or 14, and he, those like red balls that they have.
Oh yeah, yes.
They're like supposed to be traffic obstructors or something.
Well,
like
they
that.
remind me of kickballs.
Yeah, they're like playground balls, right?
Yeah, I've always wanted. I always there's something in my subconscious. I want to go and kick one.
So he goes up and he runs up to it and just kicks the crap out of it.
Oh wow!
And hurts his foot.
All right, how long were you in urgent care getting an X-ray?
No, fortunately he's got a strong foot, or he's really good at making it look like he kicked it harder than he did.
Oh, okay, good.
But that thing was rock hard. And I couldn't imagine kicking one of those, but that'd be a great prank video.
Okay.
Speaking of rock hard.
Yes.
Have you learned anything recently about rocks?
Yes, I have. I went with a date to the Mystic Fair in Naples.
The Mystic Fair.
Mystic Fair.
Uh,
Not the Magic Mystery Tour. That's different.
was it misty? Was there a lot of mist?
Not much mist there, although they could have used a fog machine. I think that is a suggestion for next year.
What constitutes mystic? What does it mean for something to be mystic? Like what makes something mystic?
Well, in this case, it's the mystic arts, which is a euphemism for astrology, tarot card readings.
Tarot?
Tarot, yep.
So like
As opposed to
rhymes
tarot.
with carrot?
Yes. Yeah. yes. We.
So next time I eat a carrot, I should say I'm enjoying a carrot.
Yes, it's carreau. Okay.
Is tarot French though, or
Tarot.
because I've never heard it pronounced tarot?
Well, that was a slip of the tongue before that we agreed to allow to occur. Right,
Okay.
right. Do you remember?
So you don't really think it's tarot?
No.
It's tarot.
Right. Tarot or terra.
Okay.
I have not paid much attention, but I have had 2 readings recently. But during this particular day, I actually ended up getting an astrology reading. Now, I was with a woman. It was our first date.
So an astrology reading is based on your birth sign and some other dominant astrological indications relative to you, right?
Yes.
And her.
Well, no, this was just me. So we decided, when you have a reading, you should be alone with the person doing the reading.
I mean,
Now-
it's pretty accurate, I think. It
It
was
is.
astrologers that predicted the birth of Christ.
I tell you, it is interesting, and it was well worthwhile doing. The only thing is, and I'll make a joke about it, but it's almost not funny. So she asked me, "What time of day were you born?" Now I'm just wondering. I gave one of these, little Scooby-Doo.
Do you not know?
I
Or-
do not know.
Okay.
So I'm wondering how many people actually know that.
I know I was born at 11:54 a.m.
Ah, you see, that would have saved a few minutes. So we had to do some question and answers,
All right, so you had to narrow it down.
and she narrowed it down.
And it was a she.
Yes,
Okay. All right.
right. So if you look at the picture, right, and I took a couple of quick pics there that day.
Okay.
So you're looking at individual readings going on here. And then there's one more picture which actually captures the whole room. Oh, we'll come back to the rocks. Okay, so it's a little bit like a flea market where each individual practitioner is kind of showing their wares. And of course, there is a lot of items.
And offering their services.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So this gives a quick picture. So a couple of things to note, at least I took note of. Number one is that there was not a big turnout. Number two, it was about 99% women. Men apparently don't.
The vendors and the attendees?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And
Men don't care for mystical things?
it appears that way, at least based upon this universe of one.
Okay. All right. Well, who's this man?
Oh, no, that is not a man. That is one of the women who was showing her wares.
Oh, okay. This is a woman. And what sort of wares did this particular woman have?
Oh, the rolled polished stones.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, first of all,
Let's look at some of these, right? Let's take a peek here. This here looks like fool's gold.
yeah, I would say you're right.
Rose quartz.
Yeah. Well, that's easy. You had a little help
Jade.
there.
Got some jade.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Can I identify anything else? Some
Right.
rings in here.
Okay. But here's the thing. You almost there are too many. They weren't labeled all that well, and
I like the Tupperware though.
yes, and each has a certain property, right? Healing property or some sort of other property that has some sort of a value, including the crystals.
Well, they do have different energetic
Yes.
characteristics. They vibrate differently.
Yes, I actually purchased I purchased a crystal.
What'd you buy?
I bought a healing crystal.
Okay. Do you remember what kind?
Oh, wow. I couldn't give you the geological surname for it, but
Did it heal you?
Let's just say that I think there is a lot of power in placebos, and it's earthly, so there's nothing bad can come of it.
Fair enough.
Like a shell you find, right? So
Like,
something
like uranium.
Well, yeah, let's not go there.
I'm just kidding, man. Well, I mean, there
You
are.
had me out of radiate.
It makes sense if there's positive energies out there, then
Yes.
there ought to be negative ones too, right?
It's a good point.
Like you don't want to go near liquid magma.
Well, okay.
That might hurt a little.
Yeah, and
All right, so
or maybe a lot.
so what happened?
Is that after your esophagus and your breathing tube, starts blistering and
After your esophagus and your breathing tubes start merging into each other.
Yes, and you suffocate.
Do we want to talk about the people in the background here? Are these vendors?
Yes, those are vendors.
So we can see the bottom half of the. I'm assuming that based on your earlier characterization that these are both women.
Yes, they are.
What in the world is going on with these women?
Oh, I do not venture to guess.
I mean,
I'd like your opinion. You are a butt man.
I can't. Okay.
I'm sorry, I locked you into a corner there.
It's great, man. These are some nice capris. She's wearing some Chuck Taylors here. Got the low-rise Chuck Taylors on with some good capris. Also a pair of jeans over here on the pink hoodie.
Now, I can't tell if that woman is facing us or facing away from us.
Judging by the fly,
Oh, that's a fly. Okay.
it's either a fly or it's a wedgie. I'm hoping that she's facing us. This one appears to be turning away. But how does she keep her balance with that thing? Okay, moving on. So this is the picture of the joint. And I understand that so how did your astrological reading go? Like so what did you reach? Did you learn anything? Did you reach any conclusions? Like what went on?
All right. Well, there was some interesting things. So there was a lot of very specific mentions, and that were all true. They talk about the various alignment, and that particular day, some of the planets were aligned for various and the
Were
interesting
things
thing-
about your character or about your makeup or what?
about history, personality. Right. We talked about fears, and this is really interesting. So my two of my biggest fears are tornadoes and hurricanes. Right.
Oh, tornadoes is probably my biggest
Oh,
one.
there was a time in my life where for like a whole year, I must have had at least weekly nightmares of being caught in a tornado.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing. So she told me that my sign, Gemini, and specifically the time that, so my birthday being at the cusp, the early, she said that I am a wind sign, which I never knew. I know Gemini's the twins. So it ends up that I'm double twins in essence. Now, I've never heard that before, but because I am an air sign, my power is nothing in comparison to the power of these two wind systems, right? Wind and rain or just wind.
And you have a natural sensitivity to what they offer, it sounds like.
Yes, so she tied into that. But here's the interesting thing. So I went with a woman who I had just met, and really we spoke for a little while before we went in, and I was just taken back by her, and I thought she was terrific, and still do. But the woman who did the reading told me that if I spent New Year's with her, that we would be permanent. This would be the one.
Wow.
Now, here's life kicking me in the balls.
That's more than astrology. That sounds like a little psychic thing going on too, possibly.
Yes,
right?
yes. However, this woman lives in Kentucky and is just coming off of another relationship and
This
already
is the
has...
girl that you went to the event with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I had tried my best to ask her, hey, what are you doing for New Year's, right? Let's, can I come up and
Was
visit?
she present for the reading?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you're not, right.
All right.
So, and I wasn't present for hers. So when she said no, she had other plans. Can you imagine how I felt? Like, oh my God. So this is my destiny, and this is my destiny on drugs. Yeah. Psst. just the smoke and the steam, everything just going up
fried
in
egg.
flames. Yep. So it's like, wow, destiny and destiny kicking me in the nuts.
Maybe, maybe she saw some kind of compatibility between your astrological reading and hers, or she didn't know you were there together. With
No, she knew we were there together. She assumed that we were a couple.
Okay.
Like she assumed, I guess we were
But
married.
it was a first date.
It was a first date.
Okay.
Right. So, very interesting scenario, but these are the kind of weird things that happen. Can you imagine being in a position where you're trying to, you really need to make this happen, and yet you cannot force it, and then it is taken from you.
Well, maybe you didn't need to make it happen.
Well, again, that's a big if. So if you spend New Year's with this girl, that will be it. You will be permanently together.
I mean, that's a prophecy at that point.
Yes.
You shall be forever and henceforth.
From this day forward.
Yeah, I mean that's
To
a pretty
forsake
serious thing.
all
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, I mean almost a wedding vow.
Wow.
So is this
Can I buy a vow, a wedding vow, or?
wedding vow?
Yeah.
Is this the same girl that you went to the balloon thing with?
No, that was another girl.
All right. So how did that work out?
That was a fun night.
Is this the girl in the red hat?
No. That definitely was not the girl in the red hat.
Okay, so you didn't.
These
go,
are people. Yeah.
Is this the girl here in the right side?
No.
Okay.
This woman is an amazing woman. She is a triathlete. She's a dancer, and she moves like no other human being I've ever seen. She moves like liquid.
Okay.
It's magical to watch her move.
So she's an athlete.
She's not only a triathlete, but she's a semi-professional dancer.
Okay.
So
I'm sensitive to that.
yes. So to dance with her is just amazing. To watch her dance is amazing. So these poor people went to this festival, and here's another thing.
Wait, what poor people?
The people
Are you
in the
saying
balloon.
these people are poor?
Well, no, they spent a lot of money to go nowhere.
Is this a MAGA hat?
Oh, I hope not. It's possible it is, but I did not notice it. It was dark.
It does seem like they look at how the thing's leaning.
Yes.
And the big guy's on the right.
Well, that was as much of a ride as they got. Now, understand, that's still on the ground. That never left the ground. All right? So there was a little bit of a breeze that night, so they did not allow the balloons to go up. First of all, when they do allow the balloons to go up, they're tethered. They go up about 20 feet. No one's going for any significant balloon rides.
All right, and this is at the
across
Balloon
Naples.
Fest in Fort Myers.
Right. First, no, not Fort Myers, Naples. This is the first annual. So it struck me, how can you have a first annual? You need to have
An inaugural.
an inaugural, but there's no inaugural till the second one comes up. And
True.
you're not allowed to truly say annual until it's the third one. Now you have 3 in a row.
Wow, to prove that it's every year.
Right. All right.
Otherwise,
exactly.
it could be an accident.
Well, or a one-time, a one-time.
So,
one-time show.
what kind of balloon festival doesn't have balloon rides? You said they couldn't really go up in the balloons? Or
Right,
what?
the first annual Naples Balloon Festival. So here's a couple of things. It was supposed to be a big event, and I have always had in my head to go to the New Mexico Balloon Fest, the big one, the big
there's a
one
big
every
one
year.
in
Oh yeah,
New Mexico.
yep. So I saw this and said, "Wow, I don't have to drive. I don't have to fly out to New Mexico. I could just go to the fairgrounds." So
Wait, this was at Oil Well and...
Yes.
Oh, okay.
yes.
All right.
All right, so very, very disappointing. I had asked initially, my daughter if she wanted to go, and she had a friend or two who went the prior night, and the reports are, from the teenage perspective, that it sucked.
Okay, well, to be fair, from a teenage perspective...
From a teenage perspective.
Most things
Yes,
suck.
yeah.
But okay, but it sounds like this maybe really did kind of suck a little.
It did. It did. But here's the thing. So they try to make it special, and what they do is they kind of have it go off at night so that they could have the glow from the fire. In fact, let's look at another one or two. Okay, so this is actually what they're going for, right? To get them lit up at the same time, and they are lit up by the actual burners.
Hey, the Immokalee Casino has one.
Oh
That's
yeah,
kinda cool.
yeah. Remax. There's a Pepsi one, and there is a Tweety Bird one as well. Don't know
Oh
who
yeah, look,
sponsored.
it's a legit Tweety bird.
Yeah,
Look at it with the cheeks and everything.
Right. But there was no sponsor written across it, so I couldn't tell who. Now I think I sent in a couple more pictures, and which are more interesting as it looks at the burners themselves.
That's actually all I got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, bummer. I had sent some more with
Yeah, that's it. The rest are from the Mystic Festival
Oh, okay.
or the Mystic event.
Oh, because I had a couple more where I got up close and personal and got under the balloons.
If you're willing to talk on Rich Cam and tell some of your absolute best jokes for a minute, I'll go over to my inbox and see if I can find them. But you have to come with your absolute best stuff.
Oh, with my best. Well, I gotta. All right. Yeah, we could grab a couple.
What was that one you dropped on me earlier?
Oh yeah. This one. Oh God, yeah. This one I actually wrote tonight in the car on the way here. Started in the apartment.
Take it slow.
Okay, so I was at a bar the other night.
Oh, I found some of these.
Okay,
yes.
good. I was at a bar the other night, and we were. Let me. Oh God, give me a second here, because I want to phrase it right because phraseology.
It's like me trying to come up with the three nurses joke. Like
yes,
that
yes,
three
yes,
nurses
yes,
joke
yes.
is so awesome, and I can't remember it.
All right, now here's the thing. I did not write it down, but I told it to you. So I'm hoping I could reconstruct this, but I'll come up with. Oh yes. I was in a bar having a pissing contest with some guys over a debate on supplements. Now, I think I won, at least in the category of fluorescence. Distance, I think I came in second.
It's good.
Yeah, that's
All
pretty
right.
bad. Here's one more, at least.
Let's do it. You got it?
I got it.
Because I got the pictures ready to
Okay.
go.
I went to the doctor for my physical. This is a brand new doctor. She's apparently from India, and she was very serious, young, and just kind of like, so she started asking me all of these typical questions. There's probably 30, 40 questions,
Wow, that's a lot more than I get asked in my physicals.
Do you smoke? Do you drink? How much? Blah, blah, blah. Do you exercise? So she asked me, are you sexually active? So I looked at her and said, no, I typically like to lay there and let the other person do most of the work. So she didn't know what to say. She's sitting there, and that's not the worst of it. I went to the dentist the next day, and the dentist told me I had a lot of tartar. So I found out I had so much tartar, I don't have to dip my fish sticks in shit. No, truth is, I have just the average amount of tartar. No more, no less than anyone out there listening.
I can't even segue out of it, man.
All right, let's segue back into the picture because this is pretty cool. So
Here we go.
There are two separate burners. Each burner has kind of a little bit of a different chemical mix, and when these things go, you can feel the heat. There's a lot of intense heat.
Okay.
And so it was really cool to see these guys showing off and the noise and the heat when they actually
So what does the noise sound like?
like a roar, like a
Like,
yes,
Okay.
exactly. Oxygen disappearing.
so what are they burning there? It's not butane, methane. It's not
It's
like
not methane. It's kind of a propane mix.
Okay. All right.
And there are two very significant tanks in the balloon versus one.
And they're in the basket of the
They're in the
balloon?
basket. Yep, two corners of the basket to
And
balance
there's
each other.
like a pipe that runs up?
Oh yeah, pretty sophisticated
Okay.
little mechanism. Also, you need some sort of a pilot's license. There's a balloon license to do it. So I met I met one balloon operator who was there, and this is kind of funny. So he looked like he was in his 50s. Nice guy, a little pudgy, whatever, and he had these two elderly people outside the balloon holding the rope. He's inside. Turns out that there were his parents who were in their 70s.
Wow.
They're holding the rope for their son who's in his 50s.
It's like a total family affair. Like they're all into it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And here's a little more background. So it turns out that the operator got his license 30, 40 years ago. So they went to wherever they had lived. They went to some balloon fest, and his older brother, just got hooked. Started, went through the process, got himself a license, right? Almost like an apprenticeship and then a license, got into it. Then he got into it a year or two later when he was old enough. I think he had to be 16, I guess. And his parents got into it later. So they've been into ballooning for about 30 years, give or take.
So ballooning, that's a verb then, balloon. You can balloon somewhere.
Yes.
So do they take balloon trips or?
They mostly do festivals. They do some trips. Balloon trips are hard, right?
As evidenced by, the Wizard of Oz.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. To speak in the vernacular of the peasantry.
Yes, right. Well, it's interesting because somehow Dorothy got back, but was she really dreaming, or did she really go to a fantasy land?
I'm assuming it was a dream.
She came back on a balloon. At least she believed she did.
Oh, I had thought she woke up.
Well, she did in the movie.
Okay.
For sure.
But in the book?
And then she says, wait, and you were there? And you were there? And you were there? Even though you're all my uncles and I don't really know you very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great movie. So my son used to watch that movie like 3 times a day when he was a toddler.
Awesome.
So, but anyway.
Oh, I remember. I have a memory of that. There's isn't there a scene when the wizard, from one of the first visits, and he kind of screams out, not screams out, but he's like, "Who are you?" Right? Remember when Dorothy first approached him?
Yeah. He's like trying to intimidate them.
Right. So my oldest son, he might have been 2 at the time or 3. So he kept saying, "Ooh, ooh," something. Maybe he was even less than 2, but. I'll never forget that. It was so funny. But anyway.
Yeah, there's some incredible visuals in that movie. Like people don't realize that movie is very, very old. It's like 60 plus years old.
More. It's I think 39.
And the use of the screen and the layout and the
it's one of the first color movies.
Yeah.
Also, there was a line in it that was never supposed to be in it.
Which is that?
Glenda, the Good Witch of the North. When the bad, Wicked Witch of the West disappeared in a puff of smoke, if you notice, she says, "Woo, the smell of sulfur," and she moves her. That was not supposed to be in the movie.
Really? I'll have to rewatch it to see if that... Yeah, I believe that, but man. So, a little Glenda, right?
Yes.
She's kind of cute, right? She's been gone for a while, but...
Yeah, in a 1930s sort of way, I guess.
She had a cool, prom crown and,
Right.
Homecoming queen.
Yes, the hoop dress from the 50s.
Like a Southern belle.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like Ring My Bell. No, that's something else.
So, I'm going to go ahead and kill this other display here real quick. And I've got a couple Florida woman stories to get into.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for.
I thought you might enjoy talking about some Florida woman stuff. Because we haven't done a podcast in a few weeks, and there are some amazing things that go on in Florida that all of a sudden are hitting us really hard. Like this Florida man that got pulled over, and apparently there was some drug paraphernalia discovered in his car, and he told the police that the cocaine was blown into his car by the wind.
Right. Now, I have a panoramic roof, and I've got 4 windows. And, tell me where I need to drive, what streets, so that I can expect at least the possibility of a bag of cocaine.
You'd be better off with a convertible.
Car. Yes. Tomorrow I will be at the dealership.
Maybe you should just put signs on the side of your car that say, "Please throw cocaine into my car." Or better yet, get a nice pickup truck with a big bed and see how much cocaine you can collect along the way.
Well, if that's the case, you can also maybe, if it's that significant of an event, it's not a random, there will be, you need scoopers. So you need the actual,
You're talking about like an Exodus, like biblical cocaine scourge.
Yes.
Like it's raining cocaine. I'm prepared. I have scoopers. I'm the only guy in Collier County with an actual snow
removal equipment. Yes.
Just in case there's a cocaine scourge. Anyway, so now you know how Ronin's
some people pray for rain. Other people pray for other things.
So this guy was busted after trying to throw something away when he was pulled over in Fort Pierce, which is like an army fort up in Central Florida. Police searched his car and found a crack pipe in the center console, as well as a clear baggie with white residue, which later tested positive for crack cocaine. When questioned about the baggie, Zach said that it didn't belong to him and that, quote, wind must have placed it there. I mean, that's
You know something? As a kid, I used to say it was my friend's. I never would have been that smart to say wind blew it there.
You could still say, yeah, I know, but what kind of wind has that power to just pick things up and move?
Well, it is blow.
The wind just blew it there. It must have been blown there. That's good.
It was meant to be.
How about this one? Have you heard about Matt Gaetz? Am I saying that right? Matt Gaetz? Matt Getz?
I think Gates would work.
I'm going to go with Gaetz. This is a really interesting story. This guy is a Republican representative who was attacked by a woman who threw a drink at him at a political event not too long ago. This guy looks like a real winner, right? I would trust this guy.
No.
Look, his collar is too big for his neck.
Yeah, he just looks like when he opens his mouth and whatever comes out, you assume is a lie.
Absolutely. Well,
He does look like a used car salesman would look.
He does. He looks like the only career he could succeed at would be some kind of legal political thing. A Florida woman who threw a drink at a Republican congressman was sentenced to 15 days in federal custody, whatever that means. Amanda Kondratyev was sentenced Monday after throwing a red drink, like at Republican Matt Gaetz, Florida, Representative Matt Gaetz, Republican Florida, rather, as he was leaving an event at a Pensacola restaurant June 1st. So that's close to Alabama. She pleaded guilty in August to assault on a member of Congress. The drink hit Gaetz in the chest and torso area, according to a criminal complaint. All right, if you're out in a social environment and a woman gets upset with you and throws a drink and it hits you in the chest and torso area, are you pressing charges?
If you are ridiculously oversensitive and a crybaby, then probably.
What I'm saying here is, what isn't the headline telling us? Because the headline says, Florida woman who threw drink at GOP Representative Matt Gaetz sentenced to 15 days. What are they leaving out? Because
First of all, 15 days for a drink. That just is a little excessive.
Right?
Are you kidding me?
Right. So what's going on here?
Right.
I feel like there's a little more to this. I feel like
There must be.
let's find out what happened. Reality is, let's see. Kondratyev ran as a Democrat in 2016 for the seat that Gaetz won, representing the state's first congressional district, which encompasses Pensacola and the Florida Panhandle. She withdrew from the race. So why do they do this all the time? They have these headlines. Florida woman. They could have said political opponent. Why?
They want you to keep reading so that they can slip the advertisements.
How do they
between
expect
the
you to
lines.
get past this guy's mug, though? Like, what Nimrod wrote that headline and they put this guy's mug with it? You're not getting much further after that.
Yeah, it is a turn off. But look, whether she lost to him or whether she's an upset constituent, really 15 days for spilling a drink.
I don't think she's a constituent at all.
Well, she would be an opposing. In other words, but if she's in the district, theoretically, if he won the seat, she becomes a constituent.
Technically speaking, sure.
So here's the thing. Again, no matter what, though, 15 days.
That's
for
a bit
spilling a
much.
drink.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, come on.
And it says here that he personally appeared at her hearing asking for jail time. And he says, my supporters are just as passionate as my opponents. They
Really?
have the capability to be violent, too.
Ooh, wow. Again, this is a little oversensitivity here
This
on
guy's
both
a
sides.
dingbat. Everybody in Pensacola, don't vote for this Nimrod.
Right. They call that area L.A. Lower Alabama.
Yeah, Lower Alabama. Florabama, sometimes I've heard it called.
Oh, that's a new one. Okay, I like that.
And that brings us to the Florida woman who bit her boyfriend's penis.
It's been how many years since we heard a story like this?
And
Babbitt? What, was it Babbitt 15, 20 years ago? Or more?
John Lorraine Bobbitt.
Bobbitt, right. There you go.
Yeah, he actually became a somewhat legitimate porn star after that. Somehow they plastic surgeoned his everything back together and There's actually a video. I've never
I
seen
guess
it.
there's no
Full disclosure.
bad publicity.
Florida woman. Wait a minute. Were they from Florida too?
Ooh, that I can't remember.
Oh man. All right. If you know whether or not they're from Florida, please message us on social media, post a comment, let us know. John, Lorraine, Bobbitt, whether or not Lorraine and Bobbitt was from Florida, and we'll try to confirm that for you. Florida woman bites boyfriend's penis after accusing him of cheating, according to the police. A Florida woman allegedly bit her boyfriend's penis and threatened him with a knife after she accused him of wanting to have sex with another woman.
All right, well, hold on a second. So there's a couple of things here that just strike me. Number one, if she's already pissed off that he's cheating and she's got a knife in his hand, then why would she take it in her mouth and not just use the knife?
Oh, well, I mean, maybe she was kind of into it for a minute. Maybe the conversation happened during the
That
intercourse.
reminds me, you always talk with your mouth full.
Oh.
You know, and she might look it up and say, my mouth's not exactly full.
Oh.
That hurt.
Oh.
Yeah.
God, that's terrible.
Yeah, I apologize to all little sensitive
All the
people
sensitive
out there.
people.
Yes.
Well, wait a minute. Let's see how big her mouth is. Do you think she has a real big mouth?
No, but he might not have a real big...
Do you think she looks a little disappointed about her actions?
She looks beaten up. It almost is... It almost looks like somebody slapped her. She looks swollen on one side. So what is in her mouth? I mean, maybe she still has pieces of it.
Side?
Right, maybe she like a squirrel. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my
So
God.
she's tucking it away for later.
Yes.
Man, this is some good penis. I'm saving it. So wait a minute. So this is
Oh
the
man, you know what?
swollen side.
Maybe she needs floss. Maybe pieces are stuck in there. You know how skin gets like the skin of a tomato, right?
All right, let's figure out the backstory because again, what are they not telling us in the headline? Bites boyfriend's penis after accusing him of cheating. Let's find out the details. It says,
And how many days did she get?
well, let's find out. The alleged assault happened during an hours-long drinking session in Miami Beach, because that never happens, that ended at about 3 a.m. Wednesday.
Well, that's good. Look, 3 a.m. after drinking is really the best time to have these conversations. This is when you're at your most logical, you're at your most, your judgment is absolutely honed.
Actually, to be fair, 3 a.m. is a terrible time to have a blowjob. It really is, because if you're up that late, you've probably been drinking for a long time.
Performance problems?
Or you're not going to really remember what in the heck actually happened. So if you're trying to chalk it up for the memory book, it's probably not going to happen either. Esperanza Gomez, 33, was drinking beers with her boyfriend when a female friend joined them at about midnight. Okay. This is what they're not telling us. The friend left a short time later, but Gomez became enraged and accused her boyfriend of wanting to bed the woman.
But wanting to and doing so. Two very different things.
Here, look at this. I don't mean to laugh, man. I really don't. But she allegedly shouted at him, grabbed him by the arms, and, quote, began to poke him with a knife.
All right, was it a butter knife from the table, or was she carrying a boa knife? Is she
I hope it was
ex-military?
a plastic knife. Right. Is she some kind of Navy SEAL? She doesn't really look... Is that a Navy SEAL? Is that the face of a Navy SEAL warrior?
No, that is a drunk woman that she tried to take home at 2 in the morning.
But they were together already.
Right. But the night before, if she was by herself.
Okay, then they went from began to poke him with a knife, immediately to, then she bit his penis out of frustration. How do you get to...
That's elite.
If I'm getting poked with a knife, I'm not putting my penis in a woman's mouth.
Right. I think that we need to reenact the scene here. We need like a Dexter, blood splatter lines. We need
a diagram.
Yes.
Yeah, that's terrible. Gomez was arrested and hit with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Again.
Wait a minute. Was it the knife or was it the teeth? Which one was the deadly weapon? Her bond was set at merely $6,500, which that one also blows the mind. So what do you do? Okay, you're the judge. What's the first question you ask at her hearing? What do you say to this lady?
Right. Have you done this before?
Are there any pending charges for it?
Yes, yes. What kind of history? So I would imagine that there is a lot of domestic dispute visits to her in the past and whatever boyfriend she happened to be with at the time.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I think about Miami Beach, and I think about, I don't want to say negative things about Miami Beach because it's very,
Pricey at times?
well, it's definitely pricey, but it's also, it's a mixing pot, and I mean, but there's some freaks there. It's kind of a freak show. It's kind of a circus.
Yeah, it's a bit pretentious many, many times.
How come the guy's not pictured here, right?
Because he's crying.
Yeah, right. He's in the hospital.
Yeah.
Do you think he had to get stitches?
Well, I hope not, because that, I believe, is an area that bleeds significantly.
Especially when plumped.
Right. Oh,
Yeah, I can't even imagine. All right, hash brown cam coming up. Oh, look at Boo. Oh, I think hash brown loves you. All right, next up, Florida woman. This will be the last one for the night because we are on a Florida woman binge and we can't stand anymore. This is enough. Florida woman breaks into Port Charlotte home, gets shot in butt. Jessica.
The only thing I could think of when I see that headline is, is the movie, right? Forrest Gump. It was $1 million shot. The other movie I think about was Easy Money back in like 1980 with, the old comedian, No Respect, Rodney Dangerfield and Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci, man, he must have been like 23 years old at that time, right?
Yeah.
And Pesci's just intense, man.
That was a great movie, though. There was one line in that movie.
That guy has like a 3 espresso shot bonus as soon as he wakes up every morning, Joe Pesci.
Intense, yeah. Intense. But that movie, there was one shot in that movie, or one scene in that movie, I should say, that I will never forget. And I may have mentioned to you this before because it always kind of, not always, but it just comes up whenever I think about either of those two characters. So in that movie, they are trying to buy they're real blue collar as you can get. And they go to like Neiman Marcus to try to buy a wedding gift for Rodney's daughter, who's 18 and getting married to this Spanish guy.
18?
Right. She may have even been 17. It was like borderline. So a really snooty woman, it comes up to the two of them, to Rodney and to Joe Pesci. It says, "May I help you?" And so Rodney's like, no, thanks. We're just browsing. So Pesci's like, "That's right. He's half browser on his father's side."
He's that browser. Oh, man.
It was a great line in the movie, and when I saw it, I was young, and it just stuck with me.
Pesci and Dangerfield in the same movie. That's actually hard to think of, really.
Yeah.
So, but you were inspired by a butt shot.
Oh, right. I think of Bubba Gump when I think of the butt shot.
Oh, yeah, you got the miracle shot that got him discharged and everything because he's going back home. And it's too bad because Bubba died.
Yeah, well, Bubba took multiple bullets.
Yeah, and then Forrest survived somehow. And then they went back, and what did he do? He went back to Lieutenant Dan. They opened up the shrimpery together. They had a shrimp cocktail, and shrimp sandwich, and boiled shrimp, fried shrimp, shrimp scampi.
Here's the thing that just gets me, And then years later, you walk down 42nd Street, New York City, in Times Square, and then you see the franchise for a Bubba Gump restaurant.
Yeah,
it's
they have one in Daytona Beach, too.
Yeah. People, will find a way to capitalize on almost anything.
How dare they?
Well,
how dare they capitalize on a fictional thing? I mean, how dare they try to capitalize on a Robert Zemeckis film about a fictional character?
Right. I wonder if
it's almost like they were trying to capitalize on a fictional story to begin with. It's awful.
Yeah.
I can't even stand it. But you know what, though? That's like people.
But do they have any rights if you create a fictional character and somebody uses that character?
I'm pretty sure that they get paid by the Bubba Gump people. But it's like people really do hollow that story. Like there's a lot of innocence in that story, and so when you see Bubba Gump, you're like, man, this is like some kind of corporate ripoff. It's like probably in on it.
Right. Yes, of course.
They probably pay royalties to it. So Jessica Gutzler, 40, broke into a home around 7 p.m. and started fighting the homeowner, Robert LaFata.
All right. Now, what type of fight is this kickboxing? Is this MMA? Like what? Did she have equipment? Did she at least have the kind of protective gear on the head?
We're going to have to find out from the Lee County Sheriff's Office.
She looks very, very like.
I don't think she was wearing
woman.
protective gear because she has pretty good spikes.
Yeah. She looks like she's ready for a fist fight anytime.
She looks like she's ready for another dose.
Just add booze.
A woman was shot by a homeowner after breaking into a house on Strasburg Drive in Port Charlotte. Jessica Gutzler, blah, blah, blah. During the fight, LaFata said he shot Gutzler in her butt. They don't even talk about the motive. He said Gutzler used to date one of his female friends. Here you go. Wait a minute. Okay, so Gutzler she's a lesbian then, right?
Yeah,
she broke in,
yeah,
and she's going to try to fight with the guy that was dating one of her girlfriends. Gutzler then ran away, but later called 911 asking for medical assistance. Deputies found her near Strasburg Drive and Seton Avenue, then took her to Lee Memorial as a trauma alert. She was treated, released, and booked by the Lee County Sheriff's Office on the out-of-county warrant from Charlotte. Gutzler faces charges of burglary on an occupied dwelling unarmed, making an assault or battery once she's released. So the guy got off. Like, she came in there, she tried to beat him up, and he shot her in the butt.
But she was facing the other way if it was in the butt.
So she was retreating.
Right. So that might not be a stand your ground.
I don't know, man. Maybe she's coming at him backwards. I have a terrible World War II joke that I cannot say. I can't say because I'm not technically Polish, and I'm not anti-Polish. I love Polish people, but there's this one really good Polish joke. Do you want me to say it or not?
Oh, well, you have to now. Look at the tease that you just laid out there.
How did the Nazis invade Poland?
Tell me.
They ran in backwards and said they were leaving. And we have one more Florida woman story. I hope that doesn't catch a lot of guff. I'm always ripping on Gabby for ruining our audiences. I just ruined Poland for us. Oh, this is the After Hours Daytona Beach Walgreens woman. What do you think's going on here? The headline says, "Woman caught in Daytona Beach Walgreens after hours." It's pretty vague, right?
Yeah, that's vague. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is just the price of prescription drugs these days.
It's true. Do you have insurance?
Yes, but at times it doesn't help very much.
What sorts of... if you put chapstick on your eyebrows, it makes it lay down pretty flat. You don't necessarily need drugs for that.
Okay.
Have you tried the chapstick?
No, I have not. Why do you?
Also, I run the number one blade over my eyebrows.
Oh, great.
Yeah. The gray ones, because they like to go like that.
Yeah.
They stick out really far.
Oh, yeah. That reminds me, just been a bit down recently. As you know,
wait, I got to get Rich Cam going.
Okay.
For this one. Rich Cam, come on.
Okay.
And go.
All right. Been down lately, right? Been a bit depressed. Last couple of weeks, I discovered my first gray pubic hair. But you'd be proud of me, right? I didn't freak out or anything. Not like the other people in the elevator. Oh my God, people are such freaks. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
That's a good one, man. That's a good one. By the way, we are well over it. We are well past it. Do you want to go through this story?
I don't know. If you look at this woman, it's frightening. I don't know.
What do you think about her? What's your first thing when you think about this lady?
Well, look at the dogs. I think she's rabbit. I think that one of those dogs.
These dogs over here on the right.
Right. One of them was rabbit and bit her, and she.
It's an ad, man.
No, I know.
Okay.
But it's suggestive.
It is. Why do they group these things together? It's a conspiracy. All right, so they found her in a Walgreens store after it closed. 5 a.m. Wednesday. Police say Walgreens security spotted the woman on surveillance inside the closed store and gave them a call. And there she is. That's her booking photo.
Right. Wow. That is a terrifying. Tell me she doesn't look rabbit. Look,
But
she's
was smoking
foaming,
a cigarette in the bathroom.
But she's foaming at the mouth.
And she had hot food with her.
Oh.
They think she warmed it up in the employee lounge. Wait a minute, they have an employee lounge at Walgreens?
They have to have something.
That's better than my actual job. That's pretty cool, man. I was locked in there. Apparently her name is Hannigan. Hannigan is heard saying in the video. Officers dash not buying it. Like, okay, there's a little editorial mandate. The store manager telling them that there are announcements before the store locks its doors. On top of that, there are signs that clearly state Walgreens closes at midnight. So they're like completely dismissing the culpability of any employees that work there. Like, it's not your job to make sure no asshole is still in the store. She's been charged with unarmed burglary. What did she burgle? What did she steal?
Well, I don't know. It looks like she tried to ingest or eat a lot of tablets.
Yeah, but okay, so you're saying that she robbed the pharmacy, probably.
Yes.
But they haven't identified that in the article. Now, it further says that Hannigan is homeless and temps had dipped into the 50s that night. I mean, you've been in Florida for a while, right? Have you ever camped?
Of course.
So you know that the 50s are not really that cold.
Well, yeah, if you have the right equipment, you can do winter camping, which I've done in the past.
Oh.
And will hopefully never do in the future.
Winter camping up north?
Up north.
Okay, yeah, that's terrible.
I almost lost a foot to, ended up, I was a teenager, about 17, 18, and got up about 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Fire was out, but thank God the embers were warm. Put a couple more pieces of wood in the fire. Couldn't feel my feet, couldn't feel my legs. So I was holding my legs one by one over the fire and part of my boot melted. Didn't see that till the next day.
Did you burn yourself?
Actually, no, but luckily enough, but I am surprised that I did not. There are no visible scars left, so I guess no permanent damage.
Man.
Except for the brain damage that I did drinking that night.
Oh boy, as a teenager.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll do it when you're a teenager still. So Hash Brown is licking my leg, and that story you said sounds like trouble. So we want you to all stay out of trouble. And thank you for joining us for another edition of Trouble in Paradise. Thank you, Ronin James, for hanging out.
Thank you for having me.
A whopping hour and 28 minutes this evening.
Wow,
and
we apologize.
You all have a wonderful evening, and take care. And stay out of trouble. How does this thing...